much for being here. It means so much to us. It's just lifted up so much, the support and compassion and generosity that y'all have shown to us. It means so much to us. All of you know what a good person Sean was. I'm going to jump right into the funny memories of Sean. I can't talk about the real serious things in life. It's just tough. But I'd like to go over some funny things, funny to us anyway, about Sean. He was such an authentic person. One of the first stories, you've probably seen this picture somewhere of Sean when he was 3 years old, 20 feet high in a fir tree. And what happened was Sue and I were in the house, and our neighbor Karen called and said, "Sue, Sean is up in the tall fir tree." So Sue runs out, and me being a good father, I run upstairs to get the camera because I wanted to take a picture. And so I get the camera, and there's Sean. He would have climbed to the top of that fir tree if he'd let him. And so he comes down, and we asked him, "Why were you up there?" And he says, "Well, I wanted to see if my buddies on the other side of the fence were there." So we knew we were in for a lot of adventures with Sean. And Sean he was born an engineer, a mechanic like my brothers, a woodworker, talents that I'm not very good at, but he sure inherited. And one of his first projects was as a Cub Scout. You know, Cub Scouts have these Pinewood Derby races where they're given a little kit, and he was down in the garage working on his kit, and I go to help him, and I look at it, and I said, "Sean, you're building it backwards." And he says, "Well, no, Dad," and he tells me we have to have momentum, and we need to reduce friction, and the weight on he had all this thing figured out, but I'm thinking, it's backwards, you know. But anyway, he gets it all done, and I think he painted it so it had less drag and all that kind of thing. But anyway, the night of the race, we go to this Cub Scout meeting, and they have the track set up. And all these other cars are normal. They're the back is on the back. The back is on the front. Anyway, he put this car on this track. And that thing went flying down that track so fast, if it had wings, it would have become airborne. So Sean just looked at things in a different way, different solutions to problems. And I think that's what made him such a good engineer. He had an artistic side to him. The sketch there on the floor, I hope you can see it. For my birthday one day, he was in middle school, and he brings a gift to me, and unwrap it. And this beautiful sketch he made, he had found a photo of me when I was about Tyler's age. And back in the 50s, you know, when you had your picture taken, you had a cowboy outfit. So, and I just could not believe, one, that a kid with them big Jackson hands, even at that age, had the artistic talent to draw something that good, but more importantly, to care enough to do that for me as a gift. Another thing, as Sean grew older, he became really interested in forging metal. This is in middle school. He had a forge at the cabin. He built bellows. He would bring bags and bags of aluminum cans and melt them. He showed me how he would get sand to make a lost wax mold, and he would make jewelry and those kind of things. And, well, you know, okay. And then one day at the house, he had made a forge, and he was melting the aluminum cans as usual. But I mean, what parents would a 13-year-old kid have a forge in the backyard? But You know, we just knew he knew what he was doing. But all of a sudden, everything turned bright light, clouds everywhere. The whole neighborhood was full of this white smoke. And Sue and I, getting ready to call 911. And Sean, in the meantime, he stands up, and as usual, calm as could be. And, I run out, Sean, and I knew what happened. It was magnesium. And magnesium will burn through steel. So I'm thinking worst case scenario. And I said, Sean. And he just calmly stood up, and he had a crucible. He just puts the crucible over it, into the fire. I mean, he just knew that it was to him, it wasn't that big of a deal, but, everybody thought the whole neighborhood was on fire. Sean, there's some other stories. This when he was in college, he was talking about the bicycle. He decided to go up to the top of a mountain on the snow on a bicycle to take a picture of the sunrise. All he had with him was a sleeping bag, no tent. So Sue and I, we knew he should have returned at a certain time. He wasn't. We go looking. We find snowmobilers, and we say, "Have you seen a boy on a bicycle?" Yeah, couldn't believe. So he followed the snowmobile tracks to this site where he wanted the sunrise. But we told him, "Don't ever do that again, John." But he did it again. The maple slabs you've seen, they went out there. He loved doing that. He loved showing Tyler how to do that. He was just fantastic. Most of you've been around with the service. Sean did not want to quit until the job was done. So one night he's milling the slab. It's raining, so he puts a tarp over it. He's working, and Sue and I go inside. It gets dark, so he gets a propane lantern, hangs it up underneath the tarp. He's working away by himself, and all of a sudden I look out. The tarp had caught fire from the propane lantern. So with that said, "Come on in, John." There's so many. You're gonna have to pull it on me if there's thousands of these stories, but I'll end it with last year. Sean loved to sail. I didn't teach him. I can't sail 50 feet beyond the beach without capsizing. But that's our kind of our family heritage. I just didn't get it. So he had a catamaran that was given to him, and he was giving people rides. And he would have the whole family on his catamaran. It's not a big one. This is like maybe 15 or 16, but he had given somebody a ride. He comes ashore, and Sean, several years transitioned to this shy person, kept himself in a small circle of friends, to a person who loved talking to people. He would talk to anyone he met. And he loved looking them right in the eye, despite his eye movement, which a lot of you have noticed. It was important to him to look people in the eye and listen to them and have a conversation. But back to the story. Sorry, I digress. He was waiting for some new passengers, but he started talking to some people along the shore, and he didn't notice the sailboat departing with no one on. And, we saw it, we didn't think that much of it. That ain't gonna go far. Well, that sailboat was rigged and ready to go. So it just took off with no one on it. And I run and get in the boat and start the engine. In the meantime, Sean jumped in the water, and he's swimming. He gets there before I did. And he jumps up, up on the boat, and we're just laughing so hard. How could he let that happen? A sailboat escape with all these people watching. It was embarrassing, but funny to him. There's so many other stories, but I'll end it there. Maybe afterwards we can be looking at the pictures. Every one of those pictures has a story, and a lot of times fun. But I'd like to conclude by just saying, if Sean were here, what would he say? I think all of you would have different thoughts of that. But I think what would be important to him is, number one, get outdoors and enjoy life. It's so important. It will invigorate you, it'll bring you closer together. The second, I think, would ask you to help one another, especially during these times, especially for our youth. And thirdly, be kind to one another. I'm so lucky to have Sue as a wife and the mother of her children. To Mindy and the grandkids, I'm the luckiest grandpa alive. So once again, thank you so much for the support you've given us and the love you've shown to Sean. Thank you.